Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. In our last segment, we discussed the Junior League of Milwaukee. They're gearing up for their centennial anniversary next year, and they've chosen the Milwaukee Center for Independence as their 100th anniversary community partner. My next guest is Tracey Sparrows. She's a VP of Children's Programs for Milwaukee Center for Independence. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And it is my pleasure to have you here, Tracey. If you could, fill us in more about the Milwaukee Center for Independence and what it is you do.
Sure. The Milwaukee Center for Independence has served our Milwaukee community for 75 years, and we serve people from birth to the end of life in several different program areas. We have children's programs, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. We have employment services, so we work with people who have barriers to employment or disabilities to help them get and maintain jobs. We have TLS, which is our mental health services, so we run the Crisis Resource Center and have some group homes around the city. We have long-term care, which is for older adults who might have fragile health conditions, and programming for adults with disabilities as well. And then we do a lot of food service programming, so we serve a lot of lunches and breakfast to kids in Milwaukee every day.
I love that. And so a lot of what you just mentioned are your core programs.
Right.
In general, where more than 17,000 people actually are benefiting from all the things that you do in the community each and every day. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got more than 50 programs and services, so we'll try to pull out a few of those and give people a better idea of how they can, in fact, utilize the Milwaukee Center for Independence. Now, your main campus is located exactly where?
It's 20th and Wells, 2020 West Wells, so we're just west of Marquette University.
Okay, and then you have two other locations, I'm thinking on the northwest side of town and as well as the south side of Milwaukee.
Right. So in Bayview, we have our Next Day campus, which is has a lot of interesting programs. The newest one is a traumatic brain injury program, so that's on the south side. And then on the sort of northwest in Glendale is our newest program campus.
All right. Good stuff. And you do have your teen and young adult programs as well as adult and older adult programs. So let's kind of give our viewers at home an overview of what you do under those two umbrellas, the teen and young adult programs. What exactly are you offering?
So we do a lot of children's programs, and we have several different programs. We have two schools. One is a small private school for kids with complex healthcare needs and significant disabilities. And then we have a small charter school for children ages 3 to 8 with and without disabilities.
Wow.
And we serve about 80 kids in that school and about 18 kids in our private school. We have a Birth to 3 program, which is an early intervention program. And that is when we send therapists and educators into the home to work with families to help them learn how to help their child reach their potential. And we serve up to 400 families a year in that program, and about 50% of those families are Spanish speaking. Then we have a program called Smart Baby, which is prenatal care coordination and support for a family until the child is age 6. So we do things like connect them with resources, make sure they have a doctor and they're getting prenatal care, make sure that they have housing and food, all the things you need to have a healthy baby and a healthy family. Yeah. And then we have a program called Pediatric Skilled Nursing, and in that program we provide nursing care to kids who need at least 8 hours of skilled nursing care a day. Those are children with complex healthcare needs, so they might have trachs or vents, just really have a lot of needs that can't be cared for easily at home many times. So we have those children in our building as well, and they're from birth to age 21.
Wow, and that's really important because there are a lot of parents out there who have children with special needs, and sometimes it can get extremely expensive to have the proper care and the proper equipment, all of those things. So how in fact does a family take advantage of what it is you're offering? Is it by referral? How does that work?
It depends on the program. So some of the programs, like our pediatric skilled nursing, is by referral, and they have to be authorized by the state to receive care. So that's one way that families come to us. They're referred by Children's Hospital typically, or another social service agency.
Okay.
Birth to 3 is the same. A lot of doctors refer children to the Birth to 3 programs. And then our schools, families just learn about them through their friends. We do a little outreach into the community, and those parents can come if they think it's a good fit for their children.
Okay, and little programs like this let parents know that those things exist. So
right.
definitely we hope that people actually walk away with some information information they can use or pass it along to someone they know that
Right.
could in fact use it. Now, you talked about the programs that's for the young adults, so the adults and older adults, you're talking about some of the same basic needs, but totally different based on their age and some of the different
Right.
things that take place between children and older adults. So what are some of the things you do there?
So the older adults, we have day programming for older adults, and there's a nurse in that program, so their healthcare needs can be met. But they do a lot of recreational things. They have a choir.
Oh,
They
wow.
do. They do intergenerational activities as well, which is really fun for them. The kids can come up and read with them as partners. They like that. They play bingo, other games. So it's a really nice day program, lots of music and other activities. And then our adults with disabilities, they are in a program called Life Services generally, where they get to select the kinds of activities they're interested in. So they might do computers, they might do horticulture. We do a lot of job training for people because our mission is to get people moving towards independence.
Absolutely.
So that's a big component of what we do as well.
Absolutely. And I'm interested also in finding out more about your children's programs because, as I mentioned, you are the Vice President of Children's Programs. So let's talk about some of the things that fall under that particular umbrella. You brought up Smart Baby and Birth to 3. You've got your School for Early Development and Achievement. Tell us a little bit more about
Sure.
what goes on there.
That's a small charter school, and as I said, it's 80 children, so it's pretty small and nurturing for those children. We have about 38% of our kids have special needs, and in a typical public school, it's probably 15 to 17%. So a little higher population of children with special needs. We really try to focus on factors that impact their brain development, so we do a lot of work with nutrition. We have a program called Little Sprouts where the nutritionist comes in. She teaches the children about healthy eating. They plant plants that they grow under the grow lights starting in March, and they just planted them outside in their garden. And then they'll be able to harvest those. Some of the children are with us in the summer as well, so they can harvest and eat those. And a lot of those plants will be ready when they come back to school in August.
Yeah, and it's stuff that they're taking with them. They'll remember, and you can, you know, do that stuff your entire life, you know.
Right.
So definitely good stuff there. A recent study done by the University of Michigan Health System, it reported that one drug-addicted baby is born each hour, and the number of babies diagnosed with neonatal abstinence syndrome has tripled between 2000 and 2009. And doctors blame a lot of those numbers on the proliferation in the use of prescription pain pills among women of all races and classes. A huge thing these days, people becoming addicted to prescribed medications, even over-the-counter medications these days. So you are in fact putting together the programming for an outstanding facility, and we definitely want to hear more about that.
Sure. So we learned about a facility in the state of Washington that provides this care to children who are born drug addicted, and it seemed to be sort of a natural outgrowth of the pediatric skilled nursing we do. So we started exploring in the community, trying to find if there was a need for that in Milwaukee, and we learned that there really is. So there's, in Wisconsin, 64 out of every 10,000 babies born is born drug addicted, which translates to about 100 kids in Milwaukee County alone.
Wow.
And the problem is not just in Milwaukee County, it's in Waukesha County, it's in Ozaukee County. So there's children, hundreds of children born in our area who are born drug addicted. Right now they're being cared for in the neonatal intensive care unit, and they're getting excellent care, but we think there's a way for them to be served in a less intensive environment, in a community-based skilled nursing. And since we already have pediatric skilled nurses who know how to care for children who have special needs, it seemed to be like a natural fit for the services we have.
And this is going to be a huge addition to the community. I mean, we've heard about the statistics, and so now to have something that's specifically put in place to help make a difference with those children is remarkable. And earlier we heard about Milwaukee Center for Independence partnership with Junior League of Milwaukee, which will be supporting this new community facility that's treating babies. What are some of the things that will take place? Because you think of children who are addicted to drugs, they actually have a hard time in some instances developing because of the effects those drugs had on them when they were in the womb. So what are some of the things that you will be doing to help these babies go along?
Right. So we'll do everything we can to help them through withdrawal safely and provide them with the medical care they need, but we'll also be connecting their families with resources to promote healthy development. So we have a Smart Baby program which works with parents on child development, and we'll enroll those families in that program so that they can learn the sorts of things they need to do to support their child in their development. And then we would also hope, some of these kids will come to our school and continue to get the same nurturing and same parent education regarding children's healthy development. So we're really looking forward to seeing these families through the long run.
Yeah, and so what is your prospective date for this facility? Do you have
Well,
one?
we're projecting next spring, probably about this time next year. There's a lot of planning to be done and a lot of pieces to fall into place. We're working with the state on licensing and those sorts of things. And we have to identify our facility. We have some ideas and some options, but there's still that piece to figure out as well. So we think by next spring we'll be
All right,
open.
that's
soon.
Way sooner than I thought you would say, so that's pretty awesome. We talk about the great things that the Junior League of Milwaukee does in and for the community, and then the outstanding programming that you offer to the community. So what does this partnership in particular, as they get ready to celebrate their 100th anniversary, and then MCFI will celebrate your 75th.
Yes.
What does this partnership mean? And I mean, it's got to be really special, but tell us your thoughts.
Well, and I think it's really exciting. As you mentioned, we have two organizations that have been in the community for a long time and made a lot of impact. So just that partnership alone is exciting, but we're really happy that we'll have the expertise from the Junior League members, the assistance from them and support, particularly in volunteerism. These babies will need a lot of attention, and just knowing that we'll have support from the Junior League members really makes a big difference.
Yeah,
so
it's awesome to see great organizations come together. That's what it's all about. And one thing before we wrap up, MCFI, you have a sensational camp. It's a summer camp that's specifically set up for kids with autism and sensory disorders. So tell us about that and how parents at home can get their child involved.
Sure. So it's really geared towards kids ages 6 to 9 with autism and sensory disorders, and it's staffed by an occupational therapist, a speech and language therapist, neurologic music therapist, and then we have a graduate student who's been with us several years and works in the autism clinic at Marquette. So as the kids come to us, they find out a little bit about them, their IEP goals in particular from their school, and design their activities to meet those children's needs. So it's a small group, lots of adults, lots of opportunities for appropriate interaction and for learning communication skills and those sorts of things. So it's a nice little camp.
Yeah, and when exactly will that kick off?
We start June 23rd and it goes for 6 weeks. So parents can sign up for a 1-week session, or they can sign up for the whole summer if they'd like.
Okay, well, we need a website address and a phone number where someone can get more information about all the things that you've talked about today.
So our website is mcfi.net, and our phone number is 414-937-2020.
Okay, and I'll repeat that, mcfi.net, and the phone number 414-937-2020. And is there anything else that you want to make us aware of as we get ready to wrap up?
Well, I just think that we're excited for what's coming, but we also would like to thank the community for all their support, because organizations, nonprofit organizations like ours could not exist without the support of community, other partners like the Junior League, so we're very appreciative of that, and that's why we've been here for 75 years.
Absolutely, and look forward to seeing you do great things in the years to come. I thank you so much for coming on, and you've been here before on the show and shared with us all the great things that you're doing at the Milwaukee Center for Independence, so we thank you for coming by again.
I appreciate it.
You take care. And Tracey Sparrows is the VP of Children's Programs for the Milwaukee Center for Independence, and that is going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. I want to thank you for watching, and I do hope you join us again next week as we take another look at our issues, Milwaukee. Have a great day.